Our first guest is Best of Vegas. He's got a couple different titles.
Very exciting background.
Yes, we are speaking with Jeff Civillico today. Good morning, Jeff. How are you?
I'm great. We're here to talk about bacon, right?
Yes, that's exactly why we brought you on.
Jeff, I watched one of your TED Talks. You have such an interesting background. For all of our viewers, kind of just describe, what you've done. And I feel like you might have to juggle for us at some point in this chat.
I didn't come on here to be your dancing bear, but since you asked.
Oh! Whoa! No way! Now, I'm not going to give you a run for your money and try with this massive swivel chair that I'm sitting on. That was very impressive.
If you couldn't tell, I'm dying for people to ask me to be their dancing bear. So
we love it.
That was awesome.
A fun way to start the show. Jeff, you kind of do it all.
So, I am an entertainer first and foremost, as you can tell. I've had my own show in Las Vegas for 10 years, right up until the pandemic, and loved every second of it. But the really interesting part, I think, about my story, which is relevant to the masses, is that, as you mentioned, I did a TED Talk. And in that TED Talk, I told the story of the street performer who chose me to be a volunteer when I was just 10 years old, picked me out of the audience. And I didn't know it at the time, of course, but that moment quite literally changed the direction of my life.
Wow.
It was an inflection point. And 20 years later, when I got my own show in Las Vegas, I sat there to sign my contract. I thought, man, this is crazy. Like, I remember the exact moment, the exact person who started all this for me. But I never reached out to him and said, thank you. I didn't even know where he was, if he was still performing, but I remember that he called himself on stage Peter Panic.
Okay.
And he dressed all in green, right? And Peter but panic, so he would juggle torches and machetes and chainsaws. I thought he was so cool.
How fascinating. Did you ever circle back with Peter Panic?
Yeah, that's what happened. So I Googled him and I reached out to him. We became friends and he was really moved. And I think it kind of reframed his whole life in a sense that, maybe perhaps these shows were more meaningful than he might have originally thought, that he was giving people an escape, taking away their pain, et cetera. And so I was able to invite him for my final show in Las Vegas on the Strip, and he came out in front of the audience and we performed together. And it was just such a special moment.
What a full circle moment. And I think maybe even for you, and you said even for him and anybody listening, you might not realize in a life moment like that, maybe just how much impact you might have on someone else.
Cue my research study.
Wow.
The hidden power of everyday influence. So I was fascinated by this term, like influencers, because, it's kind of an interesting term. It's a little divisive. People are like, oh, I'm not an influencer. I don't want to be an influencer, because we think of, maybe someone's trying to push something or sell me something or use their platform in a certain way. But Peter is what I call an everyday influencer. This moment happened before the internet, before social media, but through his presence with me, through him actually having a one-on-one really special moment and being positive, it quite literally changed the direction of my life, and it created this ripple effect that goes on now to this day. So I really kind of explored this idea of everyday influence and how we can all, really be aware of the impact that we're having day to day through our actions.
And I want to say congratulations, because you're a certified speaking professional. First of all, that's a credential only 1.5% of speakers worldwide have. That is amazing. You're also now in the Speaker Hall of Fame with the National Speakers Association. That is just so exciting. So you really have transformed yourself through your career, and you wanted to, go above and beyond just juggling for folks and making them laugh. So right now, what is the focus for you? What do you enjoy doing the most? Because you're a Vegas headliner, an MC, a keynote speaker. What do you most enjoy right now?
Yeah, thank you so much, man. This is such a great dose. I need this every morning. Feels great. Thank you for that. So yes, there's the entertainment side of what I do, and that is still kind of my first love. I'm proud to say that just released a special on Prime Video, Apple TV, YouTube TV on Monday, so quite timely. It's my special, my last show on the Strip, where Peter returns, and we perform together in front of the crowd. So your audience may enjoy taking a look at that. It's family friendly, all ages. But now I mostly serve as a host personality and keynote speaker, where I'm still utilizing my entertainment chops as kind of a way to connect with the audience, to disarm them, bring them together. But I'm really talking about everyday influence, right? And how you can really be more aware of how your words and actions matter, and the ripple effect that they cause. That I think oftentimes people kind of discount their own. It's easier to see other people who have influenced you in a positive way than it is for you to put the spotlight on yourself, because it feels a little awkward, right? It's a little cringy. It's like, oh, no. We kind of defer, right? Say, oh, it was nothing. Like, oh, I didn't do anything. It's like, well, yeah, even Peter, who I flew out to Vegas to say, thank you, you changed my life. You see in the special, the first thing he does after he says, hey, this is great, wow. He goes, the truth is, I didn't really do anything. How about a hand for Jeff's parents? And he goes right to my mom and dad. That's because he didn't want to take the spotlight. And I'm like, dude, I literally flew you out here to say thank you, you changed my life. And you're just like, how about Jeff's parents? Yay. So we all do it.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you say maybe to people watching? Because I know you had brought up, the term influencer. Some people still are like, what does that even mean? But I heard someone say once, at the end of the day, we're really all essentially influencers. You don't know, whether it's to your kids or your friends or your, so maybe what would you say to people that are not maybe aware or kind of well-versed with the term influencer, and how they can use that to their advantage in everyday life?
I love it. Yeah, this is the thread that I pulled on, that you can see in the TED Talk and in the research study, is like, what actually is influence? Because I think today, especially, younger generations, they feel like influencer equals title, platform, 1 million followers, and it can be very disempowering if you think, I don't have any of those things. So like, what does it matter? Do I actually have influence? Does anybody care? And really, through the research, we found that it comes down to 3 determinant factors, which is proximity, consistency, and presence. So proximity, you got to be there. Yeah. Right. You got to be there. And you see now a lot of times corporate teams doing away with large national events, and they're going more regional and city based, because there's a really good effect there of actually being in the room with people, close to them, not just online seeing them. Consistency, right? Just like building wealth, building influence is about drips, investments, deposits continuously over time. That's what builds true influence. Then the hardest one today, I believe, is presence, which is that ability to actually actively listen to someone, eliminate all the distractions, to hear them, and really come from a place of respect and mutual understanding, and trying to see them and feel where they are.
Gosh, you're right. That is a big one. Why do we are so... We're struggling with that, being present in the moment these days. I see it everywhere. The grocery aisle, you're talking to someone doing our job and they're on their phone. And it's important to tap back in and live in the moment for sure. And Jeff, you talk about such a variety of different topics, obviously. But as it relates to stress, economic pressure, and burnout, I feel like that is huge right now. So many people are either struggling financially, right? We hear the numbers all the time. How do you kind of address that topic and help your audience navigate that?
Yeah, no, it's such a great question. Honestly, I think that people often will look, especially at younger generations like Gen Z, and they'll see, they hear quiet quitting, or they're not engaged. They have side hustles. They think like it's because, that maybe they're just greedy, right? They want more money, or maybe they're lazy. And it's really not about that. It's not about chasing more money. It's about chasing more meaning. And so if you have a side hustle, for this example, let's say, you are in charge of the side hustle. You have agency. So perhaps when that person is at work, they feel like a cog in the wheel. They kind of don't see how their role fits into the bigger picture, the bigger context. So as a leader, as a corporate leader, I would advise and encourage, make those people feel seen, make them kind of be aware of the larger role, like what their job and what like their role specifically does to impact the whole kind of organization and the industry, that you really move the needle in that way and you're not just punching the clock. Otherwise, yeah, people are going to do the bare minimum and they're going to go chase that meaning elsewhere.
Yeah.
So much incredible insight, Jeff. We started with bacon. We're going to come full circle, and I want your opinion on this. We're moving to Girl Scout cookies.
Of course.
Do you have a favorite cookie before we let you go when it comes to the Girl Scouts?
Is there even a question? I mean, tag along all the way.
Okay.
Really?
I thought you were going to say Thin Mint.
Well, I know. When you said it like that, I'm thinking Thin Mint. Like, there's no other option out there, Jeff.
Oh, my goodness. We brought some. There's actually a new Girl Scout
Yeah, have you seen this
year.
new flavor, Jeff? It's called the Explore More's.
Explore More's. No, I have not.
I'll have to give
it
a try.
All right, we got 50 seconds left. Tell me if you think you'd like it. Rocky Road ice cream inspired cookies filled with flavors of chocolate, marshmallow, and toasted almond cream.
Yes, please.
I thought you were going to say no.
My only question, though, is, you know how when you freeze Thin Mints?
Yes.
That's the only way to do it, Jeff.
Right. That's what I was going to say. It's tag-alongs in real time, but if I travel a lot for work, a lot of events, and so, throw a box of Thin Mints in the freezer.
Yep.
Coming home, that's pretty nice. I'd like to see how the Explore More's do, room temp, chili.
Frozen. You got to test them out.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, it has been such a pleasure. We thank you so much for joining us today and giving us your time.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Oh, here he goes
All right.
again.
Here we go.
This is a real
Going
chair,
out with
Jeff.
a bang, just the way you came in. Bye, Jeff. Thank you.